Hello, this is Alex. Welcome to Socialism Survival Podcast number 21. In this show, I will talk about surviving socialistic economy. It is a very important subject for every American wondering where today's socialistic government is dragging this country, what to expect in the near future. Socialistic economy is a very wide subject, so this podcast is just an introduction based on my personal experience and some little facts I know. Please spread the word. Introduce others to this podcast and to socialismsurvival.com website. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a very important subject, surviving socialistic economy. Today, when socialists are ruling this country and destroying the best economy in the world, almost every American family suffers consequences of their destructive activity. This government sees itself above the Constitution and is moving towards hard tyranny. While it is historically obvious that socialism with its economy is a failure, I won't take a lot of time presenting you numerous historic facts, although we'll mention some. Major difference between what we had in Soviet Union as socialistic economy and capitalism is that under capitalism, market controls production of goods according to its demand. In other words, if people need something, there will be either existing business to satisfy that need, or new business will pop up with better product, quality and price. A product will be discontinued if people aren't interested in it anymore. So it is truly people-centered economic system. Under socialism, state owns, controls and plans production and distribution of goods, well, and services too. Thus, it is called planned economy versus market economy. There was state planning office where everything was planned for 5 years, including quantity, prices, etc. While in the capitalist economy, the company listens to the slightest blow of the market, which is transmitted through the data on demand, prices and supply. The Soviet economy worshipped plan, implementation of the plan rather than profitability has become the main condition for success, and thus the road to the best goods and services, high salaries and rations. This led to temptation to change the reporting, exaggerating the volume of output and understating costs. Statistics, designed to serve as a locator of economic life instead of market mechanisms, has been distorted almost from the beginning of socialism. The lack of bankruptcy proceedings resulted in the fact that the greatest support from the state was received by the least profitable enterprises. This led to huge losses. For example, in late 1970s, production of plain paper in the Soviet Union took in 3 times more wood than in Finland, and the industrial energy consumption was one of the highest in the world. Well, Maybe this information helps you to understand the anecdote I told you in last podcast about a woman who was taking her toilet paper from dry cleaner. The super-industrialization course resulted in the complete neglect of investment in agriculture, infrastructure, and construction. By mid-1980s, when food shortages were felt almost all over socialist camp, the share of agriculture in total Soviet economy, according to World Bank estimates, exceeded 20%. In most developed countries of Western Europe, it was at 2%. Can't you see clearly that socialism proved it cannot feed on people? That it is a failure, it is a fraud, it is a huge Ponzi scheme. Soviets boasted of low prices. If you could buy anything with that price tag, often some things were overpriced and some underpriced. Salaries also were regulated or standardized. At the heart of Lenin's economic doctrine was the idea of paying everyone the same average salary, to keep everyone equally happy, whether it was steel worker or medical doctor. Another way they planned to keep people busy and happy was making them change profession frequently. Isn't that stupid? I think any average member of Soviet society would be happy to work all life in the same place at the same position, but receiving twice more on payday. And the quality of their product or service would become better. But you know by now that system's priority was achieving utopia, not the common sense. And how about making 5-year plan in 4.5 years? Why? For the sake of so-called socialistic competition. Quality? That wasn't priority. Soviet people didn't have a choice of buying something else, something better. A lot of inventions never got to production line. Any innovation had to wait for the next planning period and often never was implemented. Some scientists were witch hunted by Communist Party. Take cybernetics, for example. Once it was declared for ideological reasons bourgeois pseudoscience, the original term of the time. It pushed back scientific development in that area for years. Some of you probably know about the area of the economy than I do. I do not have a degree in economy. However, I have a life school graduation as someone who survived socialistic economy. My survival of Soviet economy actually began before my birth. Thanks to my mom's health and strength, I didn't die before I was born. My parents were not rich. They didn't have money to give bribes to doctors and nurses for special attention. And even if they had, they wouldn't practice bribery due to their faith in God and belief that bribery is a sin. With all loud claims that Soviet government takes care of simple working people, the system didn't take care even of itself. The Soviet economy could launch a man into space, but could not provide the population with boots. My dad had actually all necessary tools and skills to repair shoes. Our mom knew how to alter shirts and pants. Both clothes and shoes were passed from older kids to younger in our family, with many fixes on the way, until it wasn't repairable anymore. Glorious Soviet healthcare could not even provide women giving birth with clean sheets for hospital bed, which, along with other things, they had to take from home. After I was born, never in my life did I wear diapers. Can you imagine a family with 9 kids surviving without diapers? In America? No, no, no. We even didn't know something like that existed. Soviet parent experiences even shortage of reusable wraps for infants. Let's talk a little bit about food. In one of my previous podcasts, I told you the story of the golden calf. How right in the city we raised a calf for food. Let's say beef, yeah. Each one of us kids spent a lot of time with that calf and also digging the soil for food production. I can't imagine for us surviving socialistic economy without growing our own food. That's why I am such an advocate for having self-sufficient homestead and being less dependent or even completely independent from government-controlled economy that will soon suck in even more. Mysterious system of pricing in which officially price for meat was low, but the meat was not on the shelves for years. This was done in Soviet Union under the name of protecting the interests of the people. Well, now that's a goal. And in the fear of people's uprising. And it led to products being bought cheap by produce mafia, who then sold it to us, but on the speculative price. In the midst of such deficit economy and unfair pay, people used their employment for extra income. Some people who worked on meat processing factory would wrap themselves with sausages and take it out hidden under warm coats. Especially good time for that was winter, of course. Mostly security was paid to keep their eyes from wondering how it happened that someone who came in the morning skinny was leaving at night as fat, barely able to walk under the heaviness of the load. Other things people managed to take from their workplaces were candies, raw chocolate, sugar, butter, whatever, you name it. People of such professions as turners, welders, electricians, plumbers would use their work time and state-owned equipment to make work for their personal clients, making nice amounts of untaxable cash. Of course, Christians wouldn't do anything like that, declining to grab the pieces of collapsing economy. But thanks to many skills they had, and thanks to modest living, they were able to survive. Unfortunately, not all, and not always. In the past, I already shared with you stories about Gulag and Golodomor, Stalin's man-made famine that killed millions of people, mostly in the Ukraine, in exchange for food taken from people. Stalin got from the West heavy industrial equipment. Both Golodomor and Gulag showed well good intentions of Soviet socialism. First, famine was also used to break the spirit of Ukrainian people, to eliminate any attempts of Ukrainians' separation from USSR. Second, Gulag provided cheap labor force that was easily replaced due to high mortality rate. Everything in the name of the plan, in the name of better, brighter future, against the backdrop of the Great Depression. Implementation of the first 5-year plans looked like impressive successes. American communists traveled to Soviet Union to see the wonder of socialism and then to spread saliva all over America to prove how good socialism is. Of course, they didn't see Golodomor. They didn't know about Gulag. No, no. Everything was pink colored. And it looks like even some American presidents believed, because some of them cooperated with the tyrant. Later, when Soviet oil was discovered, it gave Soviets some money to patch failing economy. But it could not last forever. Listen, before I finish, let me tell you this. I thank Reagan for what he did as his part. But I think it's not true when I hear some American saying that Ronald Reagan destroyed Soviet Union. Because it already was on long way of self-destruction. Of course, from spiritual perspective, rejection of God's leadership over the nation inevitably leads to corruption and collapse. May God bless you, my listeners, and may He grant you sound mind and common sense to prevent that same thing from taking over America. But if no matter what, you'll stand face to face with socialistic economy monster, may God be there with you, helping you to use your skills and wisdom to survive. Now, after such a serious subject, and before I'll finish this podcast, let me share with you a couple of Russian jokes or anecdotes. The first one. Nikita Khrushchev visited a pig farm and was photographed there. In a newspaper's office, a discussion is underway. What to write under the picture? Comrade Khrushchev among pigs, Comrade Khrushchev and pigs, pigs around Comrade Khrushchev, all were rejected. Finally, the editor made a decision. And he said, we will write the third from left, Comrade Khrushchev. A woman walks into a food store, of course, Soviet food store. Do you have any meat? No, we don't. What about milk? We only deal with meat. Across the street there is that store where they have no milk. And here is the last one. A guard asked a political prisoner, what is your term? 10 years. What for? For nothing. What a lie! For nothing. They give only 5 years. Dear friends, thank you for listening to this podcast. If you hear any background noise, well, this is probably first time I'm recording while traveling, so, well, something different. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to listen to other podcasts or see more information about Socialism Survival podcasts, please go to socialismsurvival.com. May God bless you, America, and keep you safe and free from the destructions of socialism.